All right, so we're going to begin. So today we'll be looking at plastics and marine life. So first I'll go through what exactly we mean by plastic. Yes, we know what plastic is, but do we know the components of plastic and so forth? And then we'll dive right into the effects that plastics have on marine life. So plastic is made from oil with a combination. Let me check if you guys can hear. Yes, okay. So plastic is made from oil with a combination of chemical ingredients to form different types of plastics. So basically, many of the chemicals used mimic estrogenic activity. This happens when a chemical like BPA leaches from the plastic and enters the body, mimicking the hormone estrogen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this hormone. If you are, let me know what you think it is. Is it more for the female or the male? Have you guys heard of this hormone before? Right, it is a female hormone. So every item of plastic that has ever been created is still with us on the planet today. And do you guys know what's the reason for this? Why is it that every single item of plastic that has been created is still on the planet? Right, plastic, it don't degrade. Like it takes up to 400 to 500 years for plastic to degrade. So let us look at our plastic use. So we use plastics for everything, right? So basically, if you go in your bathroom and you look on the stands, the containers, most of the containers are made from plastic. There are different types of plastics. If you have a printer, it's hard plastic that it's made out of. Is there something that you do that don't involve plastics? The remote that you have, it's some kind of hard plastic that's used to make it. So we produce more than 300 million tons of plastic per year, and that's almost 5 times more than what we produced 50 years ago. So the production of plastic has quadrupled, tripled, like every times a million, from what it was then to now. And every day we use about 20 million plastic water bottles. And you know what, when we buy a water bottle, when we buy a bottle of water, we drink the water and then we throw away that plastic bottle. It takes 250 ml of oil and 3 liters of water to make 1 liter bottle of water. You see how much oil and water it takes to produce just 1 liter of plastic? And of course, these are other facts. The US alone throws away 38 billion bottles every year, and that's 2 million tons of plastics going into US landfills. 63 billion gallons of oil are used every year just to supply the US with plastic water bottles. So let us look at what is microplastics. So plastics, yeah, the large item itself, that's plastic. But the most dangerous thing about plastics is the fact that it produces microplastics. So microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic that are less than 5 millimeters across. So they're very small. Sometimes you have to use a microscope to view microplastic. So microplastics include broken down plastic waste, synthetic fibers, and microbeads. And microbeads can be found in face products, so face scrubs and items and products along those lines, they include microbeads. So they enter natural ecosystems from a variety of sources, including cosmetics, as mentioned before, like the face scrub, clothing. So there are some clothing materials that will have on microplastics, and when you wash your clothes and the water, the wastewater that is produced, it can include microplastics. And industrial processes as well can produce microplastics. So microplastic beads are used in many healthcare and cleaning products as they are cheap. They're cheaper than even rice. So we are flushing these plastics straight into the ocean, because no matter what you do, students, no matter what you do, once you use water, any kind of waste, it will always end up in the ocean. It will. Even if you throw the plastic bottle on the roadside, say you're downtown and you're drinking the water out of the bottle, and you just throw it on the roadside. Once rain fall and that ends up in the gully, where will it end up? It will end up in the ocean. Robin, go ahead. Robin, oh, okay, check the chat. Okay, no problem. All right, so basically, this is why I said that microplastics, it's a serious concern, because it's not like we can see them. So where it is that if we have a coastal cleanup, we're taking up the bottles, we're taking up those large pieces of plastics that we can see, but we're unable to take up those microplastics, and these are major causes of ocean pollution.
Mommy, your alarm.
Remember to mute your mics. So many animals that live in the ocean come into contact with discarded plastic. Because this plastic is not natural to their environment, the animals don't recognize it or know what to do about it. So they encounter plastics most often as a result of their feeding behaviors. And I think on the next slide, we will explore the different feeding behaviors displayed by